We always thought that menopause is like in your 60s, not in your 40s.
Right. Like later.
I know. I just had a 40th birthday. I was really excited. What is this? It's also weird to be this age because I don't feel this age. Like I feel like I'm 20.
I honestly think like we are where we're supposed to be.
Youth is beautiful, but it's just as beautiful as other stages of our life. The hard part about aging is accepting where we're at. But the easy part is if you can literally look at it and go, it's beautiful.
As we know, when you're an entrepreneur, one day you're marketing, the next day you're doing some back end stuff.
Yes. Or all in the same half hour.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Literally in the same half hour. I'm like, oh my goodness.
How does female friendship look to you now?
All of a sudden, you graduate to a space where you feel like speaking to other women feels like a comfort place.
And going back to even you and I in college, I mean, I guess we should start from the beginning.
Or not.
Some people come into your life for a moment, and some stay through every reinvention. Today's guest is one of those people for me. Sasha Alexander is the kind of woman who defies categories. You've seen her anchor massive television hits. You've seen her disappear into characters that became cultural icons. And now you're watching her build an entirely new chapter as the founder of The Real Life Co., a mission-driven business helping young adults step into their futures with clarity and confidence. But before all of that, Sasha and I were two kids walking around USC, dreaming big dreams we couldn't even articulate yet. We grew up side by side in different corners of Hollywood, through all of the messy, beautiful, very real chapters of adulthood. Careers, marriage, motherhood, heartbreak, reinvention. And because of that history, she's sitting in this conversation with the guard all the way down. This isn't the surface level stuff you've heard before. This is Sasha talking about identity, aging, ambition, friendship, the industry, motherhood, and what it really takes to launch a business in midlife, when the world thinks you should already have it figured out. If you love smart, honest conversations with women who have lived lifetimes inside of a lifetime, hit follow on the Iconic Midlife. Leave a 5-star rating and share this episode with someone who needs this kind of truth today. Okay, let's get into it. Here is my friend, the incomparable Sasha Alexander. Welcome to the Iconic Midlife, Sasha Alexander.
Iconic. Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to think about that word iconic. What do we think about the word? What does iconic represent? In some ways, you're right, though. It is kind of an iconic midlife.
It is because I think, especially with our generation, we're kind of doing it our way, as opposed to like when I look back at like my mom and like even farther back from that, I feel like there was no way they weren't able to like express themselves the way we are and like have these shared conversations. So I think it's pretty fucking iconic that we're able to do this, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Are we jumping in right now?
We're just jumping right in.
We are? Okay.
We sure are.
Well, first of all, like, can we just start by saying that we've known each other since college?
Yes.
So when we talk about midlife, it's so weird because we've known each other since our 20s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's just such and we're both mothers of girls. And so when we talk about sort of, you know, the growth that we have as women at different stages in our life and how we evolve in relationships and friendships and, you know, choosing partners, like so many things happen to us that it's really kind of remarkable being a woman. It really is. But I do think that at this stage right now, we are in a unique spot because our generation is talking about it. And, you know, thank you for talking about it for a long time. Even before this podcast, you were talking about it on your previous podcast. And you were always embracing this idea of speaking openly about what we were going through collectively as women, connecting on, you know, having babies and our marriages and like, you know, or relationships in general. And so yay to you, Roxy. Thank you for always continuing this conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love that. You know, just piggybacking on what you're saying, you know, I feel like it's just so important to get out there and just to kind of open up the dialogue and really make people feel comfortable, because the best thing and that can happen is that we have all these shared stories and we learn from each other and we support each other, like there's no reason why we should not all be supportive of one another. There's space for all of us.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I just feel like there is no reason that we should not stand by our fellow, especially midlifers, because, we need collectively, we're so much stronger when we're all together. So,
Yeah.
right? When I think,
Yeah.
think back to that, like, and going back to even you and I in college, I mean, whew, I guess we should start from the beginning.
Or not.
Oh my God, Sasha, it was so funny. I was like just thinking yesterday, I'm like, when was the first time I met Sasha? And I think I remember, if memory serves, which could be a blur still because we did,
At a
go to
party, at a
college.
theme party, at a college theme party.
Could have been a theme party. You know what it was? I think it was when Tracy and I came to pick you up to go, and Joey came to pick you up to go out for the night when you lived with Autumn.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Was
yeah.
that our freshman? That was our freshman year.
No,
I think.
I didn't live with Autumn till senior year.
Oh, but okay. You know what? I think it was our freshman year, maybe.
But we lived with Tracy in
right?
Autumn the first year. So maybe.
Oh, wait, then that was, okay, wait, that's
Yeah,
right.
freshman
Then that
year.
was it. Then that was it, freshman year. Okay, that was it. I remember us all going out. Joey was trying to round, our gay friend Joey, for those who don't know, was trying to round us all up, and the shenanigans that always
They don't know
follow.
Joey? Everyone knows Joey.
I know.
What do you mean? Hurry, sir, hold on. I have to take a beat and just tell you I'm being distracted because I cut my own hair the other day. I felt empowered to so I think I did this. I used to do this in college, and now all of a sudden in midlife, I'm cutting my own hair. I literally cut my bangs. They were down to here and I cut them to here because I cut Leonardo's hair. He likes me to cut his hair. I did it once, and for some reason it was like the best haircut he ever had. So now I cut his hair all the time, which is really cute. But I felt empowered to do my own hair. Now I'm looking at it going, I'm not sure. I might need to have a professional take a look at this.
I am obsessed with it. You can see the layers.
Lots of layers. There's a lot of layers.
Like, I think I'm going to book an appointment, Sash. I mean, you're onto something.
I'm here. Matchas and a haircut.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I'm in.
I just was looking at myself in the thing and I'm like, whose hair is that? What's happening? Okay. Anyway.
How do you do it? You just look in the mirror and you just, with the scissors, here we go.
I was drunk. I was very drunk.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Can you imagine?
Go.
I'm literally like this. That's what I do. I just go like that. And I also kind of think I do that with Leonardo's hair. I kind of look at the way the flow of the hair goes and I kind of just shape it like I would a plant.
And don't, like, all those boys love to have like the hair in the face. Like,
not anymore. He's past that stage. Thank goodness.
I love hearing about like the boy mom side of things, like, because I just have the girl. So I feel like it's a totally different experience. And here you are, you've had both. I mean,
yeah, it's different.
Which one is harder? Which one is there one that's harder?
Girls were so difficult. There's I don't even have to take a breath. I can literally cut your sentence off. Which one's harder? Girls. Girls. Girls are harder. Listen, that's what makes us magical creatures, because we are complicated and we have many sides and we can handle a million things at once. And we have big brains and big hearts and we lead with emotions because we have cycles. And I don't think that we should not think that our cycles affect our emotional being. We give birth. There's a lot going on. And so, I think that all those things, especially when you're growing and you have, a young girl entering into, the teens and then young adulthood, it just is a lot to navigate, and also they're different than we are. Oh, I also think that having a girl is hard for us because as girls, we've definitely been in positions that we didn't feel we felt insecure. We didn't feel good about ourselves. We didn't maybe find our people or our friend group, or we were excluded, or we didn't feel pretty enough, or the boy didn't like us. We have all these things that happen to us. And then you watch your daughter go through the same thing and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gutted. I'm gutted. What do I do? How do I help her navigate this? And you can't, you can do the best that you can. But the truth is that we're all individual and she's her own person. And so she has to learn the hard way, and as we all do. So it's really, I just find it more difficult, I think, because we feel their pain in a different way. Boys are I mean, literally Leo had something happen the other day that would have, for maybe my daughter, been like a bigger deal. But for him, he just sort of said, this is what happened. It hurt my feelings. And we were like, yeah, that sucks. And he was like, yeah, all right. Can I go get an acai bowl? Yeah. Okay. And it was over. Like, there was no prolonging it. I'm not saying that they don't feel as deeply or see it. I just think that it's different. They let it go very fast.
It seems like the bounce back is quicker. Girls seem to be a little more emotional about it. It's like you really have to go through the process.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
With them.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of advice can you give me? Because as you know, my daughter has entered middle school now, and I'm a little shook, with all the things, with all the emotions and the hormones, and it's one thing sometimes one way one day, and then it's a 180 the next. There's a lot going on in these little brains and bodies. So what advice for these middle school moms would you give?
I have a lot of empathy for it because I went through it, and I really I love all kids. Like, there's a part of me that really always wanted to, and still sometimes wants to, be a teacher or like work with children, because I really do feel for them. And very often I say to parents, like, just chill out. Like, you have no idea what what it was like at school or what they went through. And two other piece of advice is, like, don't believe everything they tell you. It's just their perspective. You have no idea what they contributed to the dynamic, the friend group, what they brought to the table, what they didn't. They don't know who they are. They're testing things out. They're trying on different jackets of personalities and behaviors. And one day they might be the mean girl, and the next day they might be the girl that helped somebody. And they might be, you don't know. They don't know. So don't be too quick to jump on the bandwagon of enabling them or believing them, and also, like, I'm always just like, well, that sounds hurtful, but I know that, you're going to figure out, like, basically just having patience on it, not all of a sudden villainizing other people. I think that that's like a place that girls go really quickly. And I think that that's like not the true story necessarily. So just not minimize it. Hear them, listen, be there for them, but don't believe every single thing that they tell you as like gospel, because it's not. And the other one is Lisa D'Amour wrote an amazing book called Entangled. And if you haven't read it, it's a must read. Must, like, you need to read it today. And then you need to, she was on my podcast, and I love her. I met her in person first. And I just think that she has a really beautiful, kind way of approaching these years, and particularly with girls. She has two girls herself she raised. I like the way she speaks about it and all the different stages. And she was literally right about everything. So when you read her book, you can look at that section that your daughter is, but it's great to read the chapter ahead, because then you kind of know what's coming, and you're a little bit more like, when it does happen, you're like, oh my goodness, wait. Somebody told me that was going to happen. Now it's happening. Like, you never think your little girl is going to be so sassy. You never think that they're going to, and then they are. And then you're like, oh my God, what happened to my little girl? She loved me so much, and now she's like talking back. So I think it's all part of it. I think I was pretty difficult on my mom too. Like, I think I was definitely
right here.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was really difficult on my
Absolutely.
mom, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like misunderstood. I felt like I didn't know my place, even though I had a lot of friends, and really good friends growing up. So I didn't have like I wasn't a kid that had like a social, big social issues. But I do think we all, doesn't matter, we all feel like finding friends and finding your people and the people that understand you and fully see you, that's a process at every stage in our life. I don't even think it's something that you just like all of a sudden you're like, I'm here. And, because sometimes you can be friends with people for years and then reach a certain age and you guys just don't have anything in common, or their life went in a direction that doesn't align with yours anymore, or whatever it is. So we're always having to navigate that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was just thinking back to our larger fin group too from college. And we're actually also very lucky that we've all stayed in touch for so long through the
Yeah.
decades,
Yeah.
and that everybody has is so individual. People have different goals, different accomplishments. They're driven. I mean, they're all badasses, they're everybody, every single one of them, very impressive. But, we're really lucky to sort of have that anchor from, our early 20s and even our late teens. I mean, really. So now, as you're looking at female friendships here in midlife, do you go back to some of those older friendships, to kind of go back to those? Or do you find that it's easier to make friends at this time of life? Like, how does female friendship look to you now?
It's a great question. Just the other day, a friend of mine was saying how they wanted to plan this trip and all girls. And my husband lately has been like, what's with all this all girl stuff? Like, you go on a trip with all girls, you go to a dinner with all girls, it's a birthday party with just girls. And we realize that at this age, we really like to be around other women,
Mhm.
right? We really do. So even as we're talking about being a teen, when you're like, this drama with other girls, in women, all of a sudden you graduate to a space where you feel like speaking to other women is feels like a really like a comfort place. So I have always had a lot of female friends. I was raised with two women. My parents were divorced. My aunt lived with us. I had two women in the house. So I'm very comfortable with women. I love all sorts of women. I have friends that are very, very colorful and wacky and all over the place. And, some people go, how are you friends with that person? I'm like, they are nuts, but I love them. I think that they're really great at that thing that they do. And so I've always kind of been a person that went in different groups. I think you know that, and was inspired by different people. And so I do think that we have a lot of women we know who are all doing a lot of stuff. We see our friends, go through their 20s and go through their 30s, and then they, marriages and relationships and sometimes children, sometimes not. But whatever that is, and as you watch that process, we see all the growth, we see all the changes. And then all of a sudden you get to this midlife place where you you're looking at the perspective of everything. And lately I've been thinking a lot about perspective, just the perspective of being in a situation where you feel stuck and then going, how do I feel better about this? What do I do about this? And I always think that like finding a way to meditate your way into perspective allows you to look at the whole thing and really evaluate the good and whatever is not good or bad for you, figuring out like, okay, these are the things that don't work. I'm not going to color the whole thing with this. I'm not going to paint the whole picture with the same color. I'm going to step away and I'm going to look at it. And I think that we gain that perspective with age and with wisdom and experience. And so our relationships at this age I just don't find myself as like, I just feel like to each their own. Like if you're happy and that's what you feel like, who am I to tell you, to judge you about your choice? Whether that's staying in your marriage or not, or, I don't know how you live your life. Like right now, I feel like there's a lot of judgment around women our age who are living their life as they were in their 20s. Like some people are just like going, I'm going to have fun now. I'm going to look how I want. I'm going to dress how I want. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to attack that business the way I always wanted to, and I'm going to go for it. There's so many ways to look at people. And I think sometimes women feel like like intimidated by that. Like you can look at someone and go, wow, I'm not doing as much as that person's doing, or I'm not. But I feel like, even though I can sometimes feel that way, I feel in general very inspired by other women who are doing the best that they can at whatever they're doing.
Absolutely. And I think too, like at our age, I think it's really quality over quantity now. It's deeper relationships, it's like our time is shorter. So the time that we do spend together really has to mean something, and it really is a beautiful and profound and in a way that I feel like, my husband has good guy friends and they do things too, but it's different
It's
with
different.
with all of us,
I
right? I
agree.
mean, it's sit there and talk and like really hash things out. I mean, with my husband, it's more of like they do an activity. We can literally sit on the phone and like talk for an hour and, have a full conversation about really important things. So I think that, especially now, I mean, we need these relationships.
I love it too because I think that we can talk about things that we're all interested in, whether that's raising our kids, whether that's going through menopause, whether that's, what are you into right now to take care of yourself? Like what sports or what activities or what are you doing to take care of your skin? There's so many things that we talk about as women that men are not talking about their skin. They're not actually sitting around going, hey, I mean, maybe they're talking about their fitness. That's possible. But in general, we have like a lot of different things that we can connect on. Our fashion, what are we going to wear? What are we going to buy for the holidays for gifts? What are we going to? There's so many things that we can kind of dive into. And how are we setting our holiday tables? How are we decorating the tree? What things are we doing? Where are we traveling? These are like conversations that we are always having and we like to have with other people that we connect with on to get ideas, to share stories, to share inspiration. And so for me, my female friendships are everything. And I feel very inspired by women. I feel very rah rah for for women, like I really do. I'm like, you go, girl. Like I see some people, they're just
Yes.
kicking ass at what they're doing, and I want to learn from them. But I also really value people who know how to slow down, who know how to really like do things at a pace that feels good for them. So I feel like, I don't know. I really value my friendships, but I think that women at our age are really like at a very special and powerful time.
Absolutely.
We're not building so much, right? We're more figuring out what feels good for us.
Yes, and as we should, and we probably, to be honest, we probably should have done that years ago, really like felt like listened, tuned in and said, what feels good for us right now? And like settling in and just being okay with that. Like for some reason, it's always been like a race or I need to do this. Or like you were saying before, the comparison factor where it's like, why do I care what somebody else is doing?
I know. I know. And it's still hard. Like, even though, and imagine like our young daughters, like, with social media and everything, it's really, really challenging. Like, there are times when I have had, I pick something up and I look at something and I'm like, gosh, I wish I was good at that. Like I was able to handle that many things, or I was able to juggle so much. I realize now, like, one of the hardest things that I'm grappling with is that ever since COVID, um, it has really, and that for me has been, between 45 and 50, like I started going into perimenopause, hitting COVID, having to be, not having to, but like, yeah, we were all home. Work slows down. You're full on parenting mode to children who are, being homeschooled. Like our lives went like really, really insular. And that did a number on me. Like, I think in the moment, I'm one of those people that like dives in and gives myself entirely to it. But then all of a sudden, when the dust settles, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, I need to step back and just do a little self care and a little bit of reflection on, you know, we all have to kind of learn to take care of ourselves. And I think that's something for women that is definitely harder than for men, 100%. I think women are taking care of so many things that self care is essential to their well being, their nervous system. We're the ones that get, the Alzheimer's, the dementia, the heart disease, all these things at record numbers because of what's happening at a time when we are juggling so much. And if you have women that are working and raising their children and keeping their family together, it's like it's much more than we think it is on our body.
It really is. It really is. You know what I just have dipped my toe into now? HRT is
Oh,
just
yeah.
started.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Yeah.
am so
Thank goodness. It's
excited,
life changing.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Life changing.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for what
Yeah.
the process is going to unfold into, become, because I was kind of hesitant. We're hearing all these mixed reports. I had doctors saying one thing or the other. It's getting mixed messaging. But then lately, with like the studies that have come out, saying that they were removing the black box labels and things like that, I was like, now's the time. I really want to do this. So I think that that is a form of self care. Why shouldn't we take care of our health in that way if that's the choice that we want to make?
Yeah, I think two things on that. Like I was working on a documentary some years ago, just before just as like the whole boom of just the talk of menopause was happening. And one of the things I learned was just how this time in a woman's life was so discarded. I mean, we read a lot about it now in a lot of, conversations, and people like Oprah and Maria Shriver have like really done incredible things to open that conversation. And and so many other people. But I think what I learned was that how they just discarded us after having children. It's like our health sort of didn't matter. And in fact, it matters so much because learning to understand that our hormones begin to drop in our late 30s, early 40s. And the problem with that drop is that you just want it to be gradual. You don't want it to be a fast drop. The fast drop leads to mood and fatigue and like so many awful things that we don't feel like ourselves. And then all of a sudden, you have to kind of regulate that. So knowing that it has to be like this allows you, I feel every woman should understand that you do need to do blood work. You do need to take a look at sort of where you're at hormonally and find a way, whether that's HRT or not. There's supplements that help now. But if HRT works for you, then you are allowed to do it for a little while. You can do smaller doses. Now they have creams and things. It's not like this, it works for some and not for others, but still it's a point of getting it to go gradual instead of all at once. And so for me, I did get on HRT and it worked for me because it just made me feel like more gradual. When I got hit with perimenopausal symptoms in my early 40s, actually, I didn't know it. And I did not know that's what it was. I was working on Rizzolian Isles. I was exhausted. I really, really felt like it was just the exhaustion. And then when I learned that it was more, it just felt so weird to me because we always thought that menopause is like in your 60s, not in your 40s.
Right. Like later, later.
I know. I just had like a 40th birthday. I was really excited. What is this? And then now all of a sudden, yeah, it was like later. And now you're inching closer to that later. And I didn't know that. And so, then it opened the conversations with my mother and of just like, when did it happen for you? What did this? And I think that now it's happening earlier also just because of all the hormones in food and how our eating is. And so, yeah, it's a lot, but I think that we have to now, I think the generations are going to, after us are going to really like benefit from our work of like speaking out about this and not making it taboo and understanding that all of those things that we manage now benefit us later because later post 60s and 70s those diseases I was talking about are coming from a big drop in our estrogen and our levels. So there's a direct correlation between the two, which was ignored for decades, which is wild to me. Like crazy, 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 crazy. Like, why was that ignored? I don't understand. But here we are, and I think it's definitely helping women feel better and move through this in a much more peaceful way. So thank goodness for that.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness. I do think about the generation before us, a lot of our moms and aunts and cousins and who suffered in silence, they
Oh my
didn't.
goodness.
Can you imagine like just raw dogging it like
No, no,
that
that's
whole
what
time?
my mom did. My mom was just like, "Oh, it's fine. Like it was bad for this many years and then it passed." And I just thought, okay, but like I work and I like we're not living. I don't know. I just why do we have to suffer through it if there is some kind of a solution or something to make us feel better? So yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah, we should have a quality of life, right?
And I'm sure you know this, but like with so many friends and women I know, I keep saying to everybody now, have grace with every woman that's over 40. You just don't know what they're going through. They may not be themselves that day. They may say something they don't mean. They may behave in a way that's irrational. They may do something to just give it space, be kind. Like you just don't know. And before you're quick to jump at something, I just feel like a lot of people are moving through a lot of feelings and a lot of different emotional sort of places. And that could do with our hormones for sure.
For sure. And I think about the partners too. I mean, they too are in this boat with us. And, I mean,
Unfortunately for them.
fortunately for them, I'm always like, sorry, David.
Like,
Didn't mean to
David, do
just
you really
totally
want to go on that all girl trip? Haven't you had enough of me? Because I've been writing you for the
totally.
last like 2 weeks. Like, yeah, I mean, I know.
He's
I'm
like,
always
get
like,
the
don't
fuck
you
out of here.
walk out of here? Take a break, girl.
Totally, totally. I mean, as they say,
It's a
absence
lot.
makes the house happier.
I remember I was in my like early 30s or something, and we had some neighbor friends, and the wife was going through menopause. She was in her mid 40s. And one day the husband came in and he was just like, I think she wants to leave me. Like she hates me. She's so angry and I don't know why. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's happening because she was young. Like no one thought it was menopause. And he was just like, she's so mad. And she was going through all this. And one day when she discovered that she was going through perimenopause, she was like, oh. And so she like helped herself and she was like switched up. And then he came over. How is she doing? Much better. Like, but I just remember seeing it and thinking, wow, like I didn't know that there was that big of a potential switch up. It's like PMS. We can get
Yes.
a little
Yes.
wacky. We can get wacky.
Get a little crazy around these
Little
parts.
crazy.
I know. I was telling my husband, I was like, David, I bet you're excited for when my daughter, because she's 11 now, she's probably going to get her period in the next, couple years. And I'll probably be in full blown menopause by that
Oh
time.
my
I'm
gosh.
like, it's going to be a household of, it'll be like a seesaw. You
It's a
know?
seesaw. Oh my gosh. It's a lot. It's a lot. One of the other things I will say that I think the health with the HRT and all that is super important. And I also think that really finding stuff to do, giving yourself, like, I think our purpose is something this past year has been my thing, is like really leaning into my purpose, really feeling like not waiting around for things. In my industry, it's like you're always waiting on a job, you're always waiting on a phone call, you're always waiting on this thing. And I just, at this stage of my life, didn't want that. I wanted to be proactive in what I was doing every day. I wanted an office. I wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to create. I wanted to be around creative people and kind of working on my projects and the things that inspired me. And I feel like, that's a really important piece. For some women I know, it's pickleball. It's literally waking up and having stuff to do, going to exercise, playing pickleball, or meeting up with their girlfriends to do something fun, or picking a project, a passion project. Or if you're working, like whatever it is, just give yourself, like, recognize that this is a sensitive period and give yourself self care and find things in your life that continue to make you feel good. Be around people that make you feel good. When you talk about friends, Roxy, I think like another big thing is being around people that also fill our buckets and make us feel good. I mean, sometimes we can have friends for long times, and when we're around them, maybe we're just not in the same place and we just don't feel good around them. I think it's important to be around people who we can focus on the things that make us feel good. as a creative person, I like to talk about creative things. I like the people who fill my bucket tend to be people who are like creative and thinking about doing stuff. Like I don't want to sit around and talk about like, what my spring wardrobe's going to be. Like I'm not interested really. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't mean that I don't care about that, but I just mean like some things are or gossip about getting too involved in the kids stuff or whatever. It feels like too not productive to me.
Right. Well, I think you bring up an interesting point too, because I think we're also at a point right now where it's okay to let friendships go. Like it's okay to say, this friendship doesn't serve me anymore. It's not necessarily a bad thing to protect your peace and to protect your energy. It's like there's only so much of us to go around. So if it's not, something where it's making you feel better about yourself, or, it's a quality friendship, there's no I don't think we should be stigmatized to like let a friendship go, you know?
No, and I think the mature thing too is to also, which I don't know that it always works, but I do think that it's okay to love and care for somebody, but not like be with them all the time. Like it's okay to just be like it's not something that serves me, but I wish them well. Like it's fine. Like it doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be anything. Like we're all on another side of this time of our life where we should all have the right to be around people that are that make us feel good and that we feel close to. I have so many groups of friends, and oftentimes I'm not invited to every dinner or everything. And I see other people I know or whatever, and it's fine. I don't care. I'm happy they're all together having a good time. Like I don't take it personally. I don't like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'd rather, gives me an excuse to be home early and bed.
I know. There's something so nice too about when plans get canceled. Yes,
I want to sleep.
the best, the best. You're like, okay, I can just get back into it, like chill on the couch. Yeah, it's amazing. So purpose, lady, let's talk purpose because you've had a big launch this year with the real life company, your new baby. So launching a business in midlife. Tell me all about that. Like, how has it been? What was sort of like the impetus behind it? Give it to me, lady.
Well, I think I took Lucia to college and I was just really surprised by like how there was no like space to go to one place to know what to get her for her dorm, for school, like there was no place. The bookstores at all these universities don't have like a checklist or a place for you to understand exactly what you need. And I just was really surprised. 19 million kids a year go to university and every 9 months they have to replenish their rooms or their apartments and everything. And I just couldn't believe that I was like hunting through Amazon to find what I needed. And so this idea sparked and it stayed with me for like 6 months and I couldn't get rid of it. And I kept thinking of this idea of school of life. Like it had combined two other ideas I'd had in my life. One was my frustration after graduating college about not really learning about finances and enough and not having sort of preparation as a young adult. And so basically, these ideas came together for me, which is like having a platform that combines everything that you need for young adulthood. So from 18 to 28, whether that's something that you need for your dorm or first apartment or living, but it's a lifestyle brand that is just any conversation you also need to have about what's going on. I do think we haven't given much love to that period of your life. Like, 20 somethings now are they're not like saving up for a house as much as they are like, buying like a $20 smoothie or a perfect candle or a perfect bag. Like they're very invested in your daily luxuries of things that bring you peace. And so um, I just wanted to do that. And so anyway, Real Life Co. was named that because whenever I complained to my mom about anything that was like real life related taxes, or she'd be like, "It's real life,
Mhm.
baby. It's real life." And so that's our tag is real life, baby. And so it is things that I think it's like no matter how much technology we have, or whatever your parents were like, great parents that were involved, parents that were less involved, you need to learn for yourself how to function, how to schedule yourself, how to make your bed, do your laundry, figure stuff out. And there has to be some place that you can go to for that. So that's what it is. So Real Life Co launched in June, and Listen, I think it's really fun. I've learned a lot. I like working in this generation and learning like how they think and how they, uh, you know, what they're interested in. So I've been learning a lot, but it's also really hard because sometimes I feel very alone in figuring stuff out. It's like not something I've done my whole life. In the film business, this is a totally different animal. And so it's just the beginning, but I do really love where we're at and I like doing it.
As we know, when you're an entrepreneur, you're wearing, all these different hats. I mean,
Yeah.
one day you're marketing, the next day you're doing some back end stuff.
Yes.
The third, you're in front of
Or
the
all in the
whole
same
project.
half hour.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
literally in the same half hour. I'm like, oh my
Literally.
goodness, you're jumping from one thing to the next. And then at the end of some days, and I've been listening to podcasts and listening to a lot of female founders and so forth, and everyone says the same thing. So I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is actually just what it is. You're literally jumping. I did all my own marketing and branding. I loved it because I'm a storyteller. I knew how to do that and produce that. I love all that, but I'm learning a lot about e-commerce, a lot about how people shop, what they look for, how do you reach an audience? How do you get to people? And so figuring all that stuff out is really, really interesting. It's a totally different world.
Yeah, it's very psychological. I mean, you're really getting into people's minds and trying to figure out what makes them tick, what's going to make them interested in your business, like why would they come back? It is. And I don't know if you have found this, but I also have moments of, frustration where I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm done. I'm done. But just when I say that, there's like a little ting, a little sign, something that comes up that's like, gives me motivation. Like it kind of keeps me going a bit. So I find that, that kind of keeps me on the path because the entrepreneurial life is not easy. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. It is really hard because I think that, you're not making money in the beginning. And so you don't have this kind of reward coming back at you and giving you a validation that you're moving in the right direction. But that said, I do think that, it relies more on data and analytics and your belief and knowing because it is a need. If I needed it, I know that there's a lot of people that needed it. I'm a resourceful person and it was not there. So I definitely know, and given our data and what we've been doing, that it's needed and we are filling a problem, not a problem, but a need. And I know the solution. So that keeps you going. But I definitely do think that I think one of the other hard things is just like being is leadership and managing different people doing their jobs. Like you're overseeing so much. As an actor, I was overseeing myself. And then I definitely, on certain days when you're producing and directing, you're seeing a lot of people. I definitely was overseeing people. But in general, there was a lot about me, me, me. And I actually never really liked that, Roxy. Like that actually wasn't the part of the business that was my favorite. I kind of like magically wanted everyone to read my mind and know what I like what I needed in that moment, which is completely insane. But that's not how life is. You have to learn to collaborate and to communicate and to really uh, bring people together. And what I like is that I have more control over my environment. Like I like that I come to an office that's close to my son's school. I like that I get to choose who's around me and who I'm working with, people that inspire me, people I think are really talented and have great ideas. I like that I get to leave and go see his soccer game if I want to and come back. These are not things that I was afforded in the film business, like ever. You're just always on everyone else's time. They own you and you just show up when you need to and you stand and you perform when you need to. And that is wonderful, but it's a different thing. So this is inspiring me because it's just different. And I think at this stage in one's life, also learning is a really, really, really big thing. Learning something new so that you don't get in this hamster wheel of like the same thing over and over again. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think we have the time now. The kids are older, we're settled in our relationships. It's a great time to learn something new. And I feel like, of women that I've spoken with in our age group, I think a lot of times women can feel stuck. Like they don't know, how do I start something? Or like, how do I, move forward? How do I try something different? So I think, like, from your perspective, it's interesting because, yes, you come from the entertainment world. You're, a very well known person in that world, but you did something and pivoted and did something completely different. So, what was that? I mean, was that just you kind of knew? Because also have always known you to be somebody who takes chances, who will like put themselves out there. So, what was that like? Kind of just even the pivot from entertainment into this? Did you ever have a reservation or, say to yourself, second guess, or like, how was it just to go?
I don't know, Roxy. It's a good question. I'm totally nuts. I don't know what possessed me. I literally was possessed by like waking up at night and knowing it was a really good idea, like knowing that I had something, and that stimulated purpose and like a direction of like, how do I do this? And I just saw it. Like it's a weird thing. Like when you're producing something, a story or TV or whatever, you see like I see a poster, I see it, I see the actors, I see the story unfolding. I saw this story unfolding, and it felt to me like a really wonderful thing to embark on at a stage where my son is in high school. He's here for 4 more years. Then I'm going into being, a free bird, and who knows what that will look like. And I felt like, what a great thing to be able to do, to be here for. A lot of stuff in the film business is like leaving, leave for Toronto for 9 months and leave for here for this long. And for me, that wasn't going to work. I like to continue. I just did a TV show called Lincoln Lawyer for Netflix, but it shot in LA. So I was really able to go from the office to there, and it was very seamless and it was great. Like I have a lot of TV and film projects that I'm working on and producing that I love and I can't wait to do. But in the meantime, I felt like there was this really wonderful thing that I could grow. And yeah, do I have doubts? Absolutely. I had a couple. I only had like one day where I really felt like overwhelmed by it. I felt overwhelmed. I definitely found myself laying on my couch in my office going, "Oh my gosh, why did I take this on? What is wrong with me? I'm crazy.
Totally.
Why did I do this?" Um, but then it was immediately uh, interrupted with, "Oh, I know exactly why I did it. Like, this is really fun. This is really cool. I really like it. There's a lot of different creative ways to storytell and ways to create things that are for a different demographic. It's not about me, it's about them." Um, I don't know, but I think I've had more times where it's just more of like you learning how to navigate these new business tools that I'm getting and learning more than it was questioning whether it was the right thing to do. I think, and I'll add one other thing. We're living in a really special time where people can do different things. We are seeing so many people that have been known in one profession and then they turn around and they have a side business doing something else. They have their side hustle, they have their businesses, that huge businesses they've grown. I think we're living in a time where you don't have to be just that one thing. You are allowed to be multiple things if it works for you and you make it work. So I feel really grateful that we live in that time. I actually feel super inspired by all the women that I see that are able to do different things. And so that's definitely allowed me to think that I could do it. Otherwise, I don't think that I would have ever thought that I could do it ever.
What would you say to like a woman who might be listening right now who feels stuck or has a great idea and is like, gosh, how do I start to execute this? Like, how do I put the pen to paper? How do I, reach out to the contact and kind of get things going? Like, what do you say to that woman?
Well, I just had a friend actually reach out to me, and she has an idea, a really great idea for something, and she wanted my help with it. And what I said to her was this, like, I think that the idea was great. I think that it's really a question of really doing a little research and understanding how much of what it requires of you and whether you really are in for the big picture of it. Um, and knowing what that will mean. And also, like, so let's say you are into it, right? Asking a lot of questions. I meet with a lot of people and I just really try to pick their brain and have as many advisors as possible, leading me, into things that like I don't know about. So whether they're giving me little nuggets of advice that they've gone through and they would recommend not doing or whatever it is, and I take out of those things the stuff that I think works for me and then I leave the things that don't work for me. I think it's really important to sit with people. So when I feel stuck, sometimes, setting a lunch with a person that inspires you, that you're like, how did you do this? Or what do you recommend on this? Or I have this, idea that I want to kind of figure out what pieces would I need to bring that together. So I do find like now we have access to so many great podcasts. And so like, we can listen to people have these conversations and feel inspired by it and learn from it. So I also have listened to so many people, talk about different things that they've learned in their journeys. And if that spoke to me, then I use it. So I would suggest really doing also research on whatever idea you have um, about like what's out there, right? What did it take those companies or that product or whatever it is, your idea is, do all the research you can. Go online and like research what it took that company to get to where they're at. What is that market like? How much money does that marketplace or not? I mean, there's so many things to evaluate before you really can sort of go, okay, I have a great idea for, a soda brand, but what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to make a soda brand? Like, I have to distribute it. I have to create it. I have to like, what does that mean? So I think because I have done so much with like online kind of like fashion related stuff, I had a certain understanding of e-commerce that I was seeing that I think helped me see how I could bring together product and curate rooms and things and so forth. And I knew the process of that. But I think yeah, does that make sense? Am I saying?
It totally makes sense. And hallelujah for Chat GPT. I mean,
I was going to say,
research
yeah,
is
go to ChatGPT.
yes. Yeah. I'm totally in. I mean, research is so much easier now,
Research is so much easier. Go in,
right? It's
look
just
at these companies, ask, how did this company come to be? What was their process? How much money did they raise? How much money did it take to do it? How many years did it take to do it? Are you into that? Right? Is that what you want to do? Yeah, I know a woman that started a candle line just now and she never run a business. And now she's doing this candle line and she started with a very small idea, but a really pretty idea. And it started to grow. And now all of a sudden, the way that she's aesthetically built this line, it's like getting traction. But now the next phase is how do you then scale that, right? How do you then build more? How do you not do that out of your garage? What do you do? So there's always something to learn in a business. I find it really cool. I really like it.
it's exciting. You're right. And it's like different every day. I mean, there's something different happening, right? It's kind of like fly by the seat of your pants a little bit. I forgot who said this, but I was listening to somebody, it was somebody very successful in business, and they said the team that surrounds you is oftentimes more important than the product that you're putting out. Like that having a team around you is so key.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I mean by like the people that you're bringing in, the people you're working with daily, how you're choosing that. You have to be very careful. Also choosing like who you're going to co-collaborate with, right? Like it's not just who you're hiring as an employee, but if you're bringing in somebody that you're co-creating something with, what's your shared vision for it? What do you both want out of it? What are your strengths? What are not your strengths? I think I think one of my strengths is that I came from, a storytelling background. So I understand how to produce things, but also I'm not a person that thinks I know everything. Like I really, really don't. I genuinely am like, oh wait, how do I find a person that really knows that really well? We have a company a man that I work with for our website analytics and who helps us guide certain things. the stuff I've learned from him is incredible. Like this is what he does. He sits there and he watches how our digital market space, like what things work and how they don't, and how you can take one product and reach an audience. It's incredible. But I don't do that, right? I need to define that right person that's passionate about my project as much as I am. And then we work together to figure it out. But I'm quite excited by all of learning all of it. It's really fun. It's really fun.
You're smart enough to know when you have somebody else fill that space. Like that's part of being a good manager and a good, like overseer of the company is you got to know when to bring people in, for different things. I mean, there's plenty of things that I need to outsource because you can't be good at everything.
No, you can't. And I think the people that think that they are there, I think they'll bomb at some point because you can't be a solo player in such a big industry. You're dealing with a lot of different pieces and moving pieces, and you have to kind of know what are your strengths and what does that mean. I'm a creative at the end of the day. And so for me, it's yes, I can visualize certain stuff and so forth, but there's so much that I don't know. And I have to get people around me that do know and feel like, we can create something together. But I think that's every business. Like, I don't think anything's by yourself.
Nothing. You've got to be able to share it with people and share it with the right people. So what does the next like 5 years look like for you? So you said you've got some projects, some TV and film things you're working on, and then of course the business. So you're also going to be an empty nester in 5 years, totally, right? By the way,
Yeah.
how was that sending Lucia to college this last year?
Hard, really hard.
Hard?
Yeah. It's very emotional because you feel like as a parent that you did so much work. And then all of a sudden they're out there, on their own. And it's hard. It's very emotional. But it's also it's very hard, but it's also not hard. I don't know. Like I do think that once your child gets to 18 years old and you've spent 18 years raising them, there is a moment where you're like, okay, baby, time to fly.
Bye.
Like, let's go. So it's a little
Right?
bit of both. But initially, it's very heart wrenching. Initially, it's like, I was like, oh, like gutted. But luckily, I had some wonderful moms next to me and Eduardo and people that, my mom, like people that just like were there for me to just kind of roll past the initial shock and then it's okay. But it never stops. Like, honestly, parenting never stops. It's not like they're gone out of the house and you're somehow not getting calls to put out some fire. There's always something, always.
I mean, even for me, I feel like I still look to my parents for advice and, things like that. You never stop being a parent, I don't think,
You
ever,
don't, you don't.
No, you don't. So how's midlife treating Eduardo, by the way?
Fine. He's happy as a clam. He's fine. I mean, listen, sometimes he's a hypochondriac about like a cold or something. Like, is it COVID? Do you think it's this? Do you think it's that? But like, aside from that, he really takes care of his fitness. He eats well. We both do. And like, we exercise and we try to, we eat well and we try to take care of, again, our nervous systems in a way that keeps things calm, and we rest and the things that I think you need to do to kind of. So yeah, he's good. Listen, he's a guy that's like the glass is half full always. So even if things aren't going well, it's very rare that you find him in like a moment of like complete distress. He always sort of looks for solutions and he always looks at the bright side. So he's definitely better than me. I'm the one that could be more like doom and gloom on sometimes. Not always. I'm better at it now, but I definitely, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why they're with us, right? They're like the more stabilizing forces. It's we're the more emotional ones. I mean, I think for you and I, especially, you need that balance.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
otherwise this midlife would not be, this transition time is not so easy.
Not at all. It's hard. And it's also weird to be this age because I don't feel this age. Like, I feel like I'm 20. Like, I don't feel So it's strange when you sort of look at your life and kind of go, how did I get here? Like lately I've been like so much like connecting dots of like experiences or memories that I have of myself at a certain age. I'm like, oh, that's me. Like you forget that was your life. Whatever that may be. And also why who you were at that certain age and why you made certain choices at that age. I just believe we all are doing the best that we can given our who we are and our personal experiences. And so when you get to now, it's kind of like going, as you said, we're on this other side of time. And so if that's your time and you're looking at it, you're like, how do you want to live and be? And what things are your priorities and matter to you? Like for me, it just doesn't, I'm not as interested in, when we're younger, it's like you want to be part of certain things. And now I don't know that I care, so much. I'm choosing peace over anything for sure. But I also am like grappling a lot with, it's not really regret, but it's sort of looking at life in some ways and kind of going, oh, had I done those things or that thing or that. But then I go, no, I would have never done that because that's not what I chose at that moment in my life.
You wouldn't be where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely things like, in my career that would have gone differently if I chose that, but I chose my family and that was right for me. And I definitely put me where I am today and I'm happy. So if I'm happy, then I must have made the right decision, even if other things did not go the way maybe they would have gone. But who knows if they would have gone that way?
You don't know. Yeah.
You don't know, right?
Mm-mm.
And so I think all we have is like instinct, right, about it. And we have to support ourselves in that. I think sometimes if there's anything that I might get down about is this idea of going, oh my gosh, I got to this place and this time passed. And as you said, you're working towards it, you're climbing at it, and then you're here and you're looking around going, wait, how did I get here? What choices did I make to get here? And I think just reconnecting to how do I feel right now, where I'm at. If you look at the pie of your life and the little sections that you want, whether it's your family or your children or your career or your well-being, whatever things matter to you, I think it's just looking at those things and making sure that they're all in alignment. And so we're all different. What matters to you might not exactly matter to me entirely. Um, and so I don't know. I think that for me, it's been a lot of that. This year has been a very big year in my personal growth of accepting where I'm at and just honoring it and having a really good time creating within it, wherever that takes me. If that takes me to Real Life Co, fantastic. If I get to go and do a show because it fits in, great. Like I'm saying yes to the things that turn me on, and I feel kind of like okay. And I'm really lucky that I am in a position to be able to do that.
Yeah. That is a great way of looking at it. Yes. It really frames it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you're saying, it's like a series of decisions that we make in our life. And sometimes we look around and we're like, what's going on? Like, how did we get here? But ultimately, I honestly think like we are where we're supposed to be, like this is where we're supposed to be. And I look around too when I, see people I've worked with or, that have come up in different ways. And maybe they had something that I had wanted, or, like they did a job and this and that. But honestly, like, are they that much happier?
yeah,
So I think like that because comparison can get in the way of things, but I try to like frame it that way and just remind myself that we have no idea what's going on behind like, their closed doors or
no, you don't. I no, and I used to say when I remember when my daughter would like go to somebody's house and they would have a bigger house, or they'd have more stuff, or they would whatever she perceived. And I remember she would be like, "I want that. I want one day I want to have these." And I would just look at her and say, honey, that doesn't mean you'd be happy. Like stuff doesn't make us happy. We inside have to be happy. If we're happy, you can put us anywhere and we're going to find some kind of peace and joy with that no matter what we have. And I think that I think that that's definitely something that I've learned is like that people that you perceive uh, have certain things you have no idea. And I definitely think that social media is totally full of crap because that's not real. Like our perception of how somebody presents or whatever is not actually what's going on inside of them. I see so many people that I know that their lives are a total disaster. Their children hate them. Their marriages are awful. Their relationships suck. And then you see them on social and you think that they have the most glorious life in the world. And okay, like that makes you happy to do, but it's not truth. So the only truth we have is the one in our heart. And so we have to, when we're at this age, I think look at us in 20 years and 25 years and sort of go, what kind of things in that pie mattered, right? What mattered? And hopefully we've knocked off some things that you know, that we're proud of, I guess. I don't know. I hope, you know, less of the things we're not proud of and some things that we are really proud of. I don't know.
Totally. Well, and what's so exciting is we still have more to go. I mean, they're just because we're in midlife, I mean, we can keep going, which is amazing.
Well, we hope so. Listen, I have a lot of friends that we're reaching an age where people are going through a lot of very difficult things health wise and so forth. And when that starts to happen, I think you also take things into perspective of enjoy it, enjoy life. I tell my kids all the time to just enjoy this moment right now. This moment right now, you're never going to be in the same moment again. You're never going to be a sophomore in college. You're never going to be that. And I wish someone had kind of really helped me understand that more because when we're young, we're kind of like racing through it all, which is what we're supposed to do. And we're like, yeah, like you're indestructible. But then, it begins to slow down as it should. I personally have a very European approach to aging, which is just a quality of life. And the quality of life embodies everything. It's from how you feel about yourself, which is, you want to cut your own hair, you want to do your skin, like how you want to dress, how you want to feel in your own body and your mind and your soul, but also like how you want to live. And I think that they have just a much more positive approach to aging. There is a respect in society to elders. There's a respect to people that have reached a certain age. You don't look at people in their 40s and 50s and you look at them and sort of go, wow, they've got they've got more confidence, they've got more experience, they know what's up. There's just a different way. And I think sometimes we get caught up, particularly in entertainment or socials, whatever, with this idea of youth. Youth is beautiful, but it's just as beautiful as other stages of our life. And so the hard part about aging is accepting where we're at. But the easy part is if you can literally look at it and go, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful time. It's just as beautiful as when I was 22 and didn't know, you know, running around with a chicken with my head cut off, not knowing, do I want to be an actor? Do I not? I had clothes in my backyard, I'm in my trunk and I'm auditioning for things and I'm, trying to pay off my student loans. And it's like in between boyfriends. You don't know anything about yourself, at all. So they're both beautiful.
They're both beautiful. What advice would you give to that young Sasha, the USC Sasha?
I just said this to Eduardo. Frankly, I actually had the greatest time ever of my life at that time. And there's nothing that I would do differently, at all. I actually, if there was anything, it would just be maybe leaning into, and this sounds so nerdy, but it's just true. I think I would have, but I did. I think I would have just, instead of I was very social. I would have maybe wanted to just learn, lean into some learning stuff more. And that means maybe I would have gotten my master's degree or something. I would have liked to learn more instead of jump right into the workplace with this, I really liked learning, and I feel uh, you're so young. And so you're all into the social and you're mixing that with your learning. So it's a lot of things, but I had the best time ever. I met great people. I grew. I would never take a moment back. I loved it. So, but I think in my 20s, maybe after college, I would say, just continue to yeah, like learn and be around people who inspire you. And which I did. Maybe I would have just been kinder to myself at that age of just like loving yourself more. I don't know that I like ever really was just like I don't know that I was ever taught to like love myself fully. That's something that I had to come to.
Do you think that that was more like how you grew up and like you as a person versus like environment, like entertainment world?
No, I think it was how I was raised. I just think it's like, I do think part of it is your character and part of it is like how you're raised. Like, I do think that as a parent, giving positive feedback in terms of, not telling your kid that they're great, but telling your child that that they are good at something, that they are smart, that that they have a value, they have a skill or working towards something. I just don't think that my parents knew that. They weren't given that. And so they didn't it's not that I didn't have a wonderful supportive household, but I don't think the creative part of me was nurtured. None of them did this, even though my mom's like, I mean, a very creative person. They didn't do this. So I don't know that they knew that form of expression, how important that was to me as a young person. Um, I don't know. Maybe loving yourself is something that we all need to come to with our own growth. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. I just see some people and then I'm like, wow, they like really like themselves. Like they like think that they're like everything. And I don't know if that's just like a complete sense of like egocentricity or what it is, or I a confidence. I'm not sure where it comes from people. Like kudos to them, but I don't know that I was a bit of both. Like on one hand, I'm a total risk taker. I have confidence in my choices. I believe my instincts. I believe in my instincts. But then in another hand, I definitely think I could have leaned in more.
That's a good point. So it's a little bit of both. It's just varying degrees of people, right? So but it's interesting to have all of these people around us because I do think they make us grow, you know?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
really do.
A
They
hundred percent.
do, right?
100%. Yeah.
How are you living iconically right now, Miss Sasha?
You know what feels iconic to me is maybe just that this year's been a lot of travel and new experiences. And so like I've always loved to travel and I always love like doing things that have never done before. And I think that I said yes to some trips this year that felt iconic to me. Like going to France with a bunch of women, or I went to Normandy on this trip felt iconic to me. Going to Italy for literally 48 hours to meet this famous pizza chef with Eduardo and eat at his restaurant and whatever felt iconic to me. It felt like I had graduated to a stage in my life. Like, I don't think there's any age for this. I believe that like experiences are everything. Say yes. If you talk about like 20-year-old Sasha, I would say like say yes. You get invited to something, you just go. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Just find a way. Don't get oppressed by this need to like, I feel like there's a lot of kids now and I see it in my daughter and her friends. They're just so driven to that next step that they're just like be in the moment. And I feel like I've graduated to a place where like living iconically to me means like really embracing something where you're at and like doing things that you wouldn't have done or said yes to. And maybe I couldn't before because with work and family, I couldn't. But now I'm saying yes to a lot more. And that feels kind of iconic to me.
Yeah, living in the moment too. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. We're not and I feel like we second guess ourselves less now than before, and the choice like it's more freeing being older in a way.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't go back, like actually in the weirdest way. Like I wouldn't go back. I actually think that that was really, really great. But like, I don't feel I would only go back if I knowing what I know now.
Yeah, having that like knowledge, right? That wisdom. Although you did go back, I saw you went back to USC for the reunion. That looked fun.
Oh yes, it was fun. It was fun. It was really fun. The how yeah, everything looked great at Theta. It was wild. I mean, everybody was just like it was like a party central. So many people. Oh my gosh. was
I
wild.
love that. All the girls and all the guys and like seeing people you haven't seen in so long. That's always fun, I feel
It was
like.
really funny. There was a girl that came in and she was wearing like this like bikini top that said like USC on it, but it was literally, and it was pouring rain and most people were in ponchos and whatever, this bikini top. And she walked in and we were in the Theta House and there was uh, a group of women. I didn't know them. They were like 10 years older than us. But one of them said to the girl, like, "Oh my gosh, honey," she goes, "you must be so cold." And the other woman hit her and she's like, "Shut up. You sound so old right now. Of course she's not cold. She chose to wear that bikini top at homecoming in the rain." It was so funny.
That's hilarious. Remember, we'd freeze our asses off. We didn't give a shit.
Yeah, nobody give a shit. Like she did, the girl looked at her like, okay. It was really funny. But I had a great time. And again, it reminded me of the power of women and the power of like being in that stage in our life. I was so grateful for that experience. Being in a sorority was so much fun and so many great, great girls and ladies and such fun experiences. Like I had a ball. Like I had an absolute ball. I didn't have sisters. So like growing up and being able to do that was like such a fun experience. I loved it. Loved it.
It was like a moment in time for us. It's like a
Yeah.
magic capsule of time that like that. It was also like pre-social media. So it was like just magic. We did what we wanted, right? It was so fun. So fun. And it'll just never be like that again.
I know we have to
Right?
recreate it, create a
Yes. The
sorority
midlife
party,
version.
the midlife version. But I'm not wearing a bikini top. Not happening. Not running around in cutoff shorts and a bikini top. Yeah, not happening.
Also, I don't think my body suits a bikini top and cutoff shorts at this point. Maybe though. I don't know.
No,
Maybe.
not necessary at all.
Not
No way.
necessary. No.
I know.
No way. No way. All right, my dear. What is next? What is next? What are we going to see?
Well, Lincoln Lawyer's coming out on Netflix. I don't have the exact date. And yeah, that's it for the moment. I mean, just working on my stuff. So
And if people want to go shop,
you go to reallifeco.com, or you can go to Real Life Co Official on Instagram and check out the site. We have lots of new things coming all the time, depending on the season. And yeah, and check out the website as well. I mean, we have like a lot of great blogs for young adults. If you know parents that are in their senior year, or their kids are going off, they're looking for things, we're your place.
oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And with the holidays coming up, it's a perfect time to shop.
Yeah. We also have great gifts. So lots of gift ideas. So anybody in your life that you know that's at that age group, we've kind of got that covered. So you can go in there and we have a lot of gift ideas for that time in your life. Yeah. And gift cards and registry and wish lists and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's probably one of the more fun parts too, is curating all the things, right?
Yeah.
Like,
It's super fun. Super fun.
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
I love it. I love it.
So everyone can find you on social at Sasha Alexander. You're all
Yep.
over the place.
That's me all over the place.
I love that. That's why we love it. We're like, more Sasha. I love especially talking to like my friends like you, Sasha. It just feels like we're back in college, you know?
I know. I know.
It's like a girls' night out.
Super grateful for it. You're the best.
I
Big
love
kisses
that.
to your fam and thank you, honey.
Same. Every time I talk to Sasha, I'm reminded that reinvention isn't a one-time event. It's a life skill. She's lived boldly in every chapter, from the soundstage to the startup world, from young adult dreams to midlife clarity. And I hope her honesty today gave you permission to rewrite something in your own story. If this episode resonated, tap follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Leave a 5-star rating and share it with the most iconic women in your life. And come hang out with us on social media at the Iconic Midlife and at Red Carpet Roxy for behind the scenes midlife magic and the conversations we keep going off mic. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and always stay iconic.